great to be with you this morning for the next 60 minutes. I will try to explain you a little bit about my story, what I do since 30 years in the digital market. My presentation will be split in two parts. The first one will be really where I'm coming from, and what I'm doing, what is my future. And the second part will be focus about the artificial intelligence and some kind of example of solution you can already use today. If something is not clear, don't hesitate. Raise the hand, and I answer to any question. So, I'm 42 years old. Like I told you before, I'm coming from Switzerland, for the French part of Switzerland, in a little town from 450 citizens, so really a small place. So actually not really the place where you do digital. Actually, I'm coming from a sport family. So 3 generations of sport athletes. My grandfather started in 1955, with equestrian short jumping. My father, Philip, was 4 times at the Olympic Games, and my brother won the Olympic Games in London in 2012. I was actually riding as well when I was younger. I win once the Swiss title in junior, so under 18. And after that, I decided to stop because for me, it was important to make something that I like, and I like it like a hobby, but not as a job. Yes? Yep. That's my brother, Steve, yeah. So I decided to stop it. It was really something like a pain for my father or my parents, because they focus all about the sports. But well, I decided to do my own way, and I try to do my best. And like I told you before, I was at your place a few years ago. You will see a few kind of words that I think were important. And one of the most important points for me is ever to believe in yourself all the time. That's really important. And I will start with what I do. So in 1992, that was my first laptop. Oh, not a laptop, a computer. It was really expensive ones. And actually, I asked my father to get one, and I asked over 2 years to get my first one. So I get one with 11 years old. It was something like $10,000 or euro. So it was much more expensive than today. And the thing was that my father has no idea about computer. So he asked a guy to sell something and just get the big box for Christmas. And inside was just on the other box, and it was a mother card, memory, and all these kind of things. Me, no idea what is it about, and I spent time to try to understand how it's work. And at this time, remember, it was no internet. So it was no YouTube where you can find information or Google it and find the information how to build a computer. So I spent something like 2 months to understand how it works. So that was my first experience with the IT. In 1995, I was not so good at the school, and I decided to go in a bank. I spent 3 years in a bank in Switzerland, in my region, and after 6 months, I was already not happy anymore because it was boring, right? And I was doing just really recursive things, every day the similar things, like taking some paper and putting them to the archive, right? And I was printing out on this big printer there that for sure you have no idea what is it about. It's like a printer was like 1 kilometer of paper, and it was just one single paper. And it just prints something like crazy long, and then you need to cut it. It's how was the printer in 1997, right? And after 3 months doing this crappy job, I asked my boss if it's possible to develop a software to do that and not to print it anymore. And he told me it's much too expensive and it's not possible to do. And I decided to, or to propose him to give me 3 months to develop this software. And after 3 months, the result is not good. All the hours I have done over this project, I will give this for free for the bank. And if it's fine, I will go forward with new development. And in 1997, we deliver this software, and this software will be installed on pretty old Swiss banks in Switzerland. 1998, I made, not me alone, but with a team of 20 people, we made the first e-banking solution. You know, Switzerland and the bank, it's with the secret and all this kind of thing, they were not so funny about it. It was not a fun fact to go over e-banking, but we developed this first one, a solution which is still today in production. 1999, I decided to, I finished my work at the bank, and I started to work in Zurich. Zurich, German part of Switzerland. I was not speaking one single word in German, just the thing that I learned to the school, something like, hi, how are you? Not more than that. And for day to the next, I have to speak with people who speak another language as me, and not German, but Swiss German, with something like a dialect. I don't know how you say that in English, but something that each region of the Switzerland speak differently. And it was for me somehow difficult, the first weeks, but since then, I'm still in love with this language, so I'm really happy that I was in Zurich. I started in this company, it was a startup coming for the US. When I arrived in Zurich, we were 5 guys, and 12 months later, we were 100 people. So they start really fast. I travel a lot for them. And I spent over 1 year on that. Does any one of you know what is this bug of the year 2000?
It's the crisis when everybody realized, oh shit, we're running out of numbers, and we're going to have to update all the system in the world, because people before that didn't account it. So we're going to have to, in the year 2000, we're going to have to change the date system.
That's correct, exactly. And everyone was totally in stress about that. And we spent over 9 months, day and night, working to fix the system of our customers. And at the end, all was working fine. 2021, I was still in this company, and over my night time, because I sleep only 3 hours a night, I was working over a project for one-to-one solution for marketing, for actually, let's say, name it newsletter, or one-to-one newsletter. We are back in 2021, Google was still not on the market. And we sell this product to Nike. My boss sold to Nike for $500,000. And I still have it. I get a voucher for 250 francs as a congratulation for my work over the project. So I decided to stop the same day, and I left and start my company. So it's how I start, actually. And it was really not synced before. It was not something that I had in mind since years. I just say, okay, if I can sell this product, I wasn't selling it, but if I can produce this product, maybe I'm not so stupid, and potentially I can do something similar by other customer. Courage. That's something that you need. Imagine with 19 years old, when you start your business, I had 20,000 francs, so something like 20,000 euro, in the pocket, and I started my business with that. So it was hard, and nobody trusts you. Maybe just as a recap, because any one of you know Alta Vista? No. Alta Vista was the only search engine present on the market before Google. In 2001, Google was not existing. And Alta Vista was not like an advanced search engine. It was just some kind of listing, and it was ordered from A to Z. So imagine to make some kind of design, it was with D, so I chose to get with A, and that's the start of the company with the R, it's a design. The net for the internet, and the I/O where the input and output were the two smallest pieces of IT signal that you can push in any software. That's how I started the company. During one night, that was my garage. That's the first time that I was on a booth and presenting something in 2000, was still in 2001. In 2001, again, I was trying to sell e-commerce in a region of 60,000 people where nobody has internet. It was hard. That was my first advertisement. This month, I do over 360,000 kilometer race. I was driving everywhere in Switzerland, trying to find customers. And that was our first website. Look like today, totally crappy, I agree. But in 2001, again, the internet was so slow that just putting a picture or the logo was taking 20 seconds to load. Evolution of my market, so for the internet in the last 20 years, we are going from something like content management system, something that you know like WordPress or this kind of software that you can use to manage your website, the search engine optimization, the style of the website, e-commerce platform coming in the year 2006, 2007. Then we go in 2010 to the mobile first, because actually over 60% of the entire world traffic is done over mobile. The user experience comes a little later. The cybersecurity is coming since now 3-4 years. And the AI is actually the hype. Like I told you before, I changed or rebuild or rethink my work or my job, my companies, a few times during the last 20 years. Sometimes I was thinking to stop something, and at the end, I decided to redesign all my company in 4 business units. We are not so big, right? We are 60 employees, so not so large. We are only active on the Swiss market, somehow a little in the international, but really small parts. And we have created 4 business units. The first one is the web agency that I explained you before. And in 2008, I started to think about creating a portal for the administration, Swiss administration, giving the possibility for the citizen or the companies to make online transactions. And I start with one region, which is named Canton. We have 26 in Switzerland, and actually we have 12 of them who are already customers. So half of the citizens in Switzerland are using our software to make online transactions with the administration. Back in 2017, we launched a new software, which is named eSeance. Is something like meeting management solution. Will give you a lot of features for a board, for committees, for directions, for what kind of meeting you can organize with your staff. And the system is fully based with AI. I will give you some sample later. But we have something like speech to text over, so the system will translate all automatically. And during the COVID time, we decided to create some studio. I will come back to that later on. Empathy, that's something that is really important as well, because I think without empathy, you can't work a business over a long term. This guy there is a customer of us, and he sells something like 300,000 geraniums every year, right? And geraniums, you sell them between April and May. And you imagine in March 2020, COVID happened, all was closed. Switzerland, all was closed. He has 300,000 geranium to sell. Call me and say, guy, can you do something for me? And we imagine something that normally is not working in this kind of markets, but making a web shop where the people can order the geraniums and they get a ticket with a time frame to go pick them. Because picking was authorized, but not going directly inside the building. And it was so crazy that we need to stop the shop after 1 week because it was a sellout. And he buys some extra geranium from another guy, and was sell out as well. And he was on all the TVs, this guy. So, not sure if it's working. So you see it there. It was on all the TVs saying, I never sold so many geranium in a year as this year, and all was online. The year after the COVID, the shop was closed because it was 0 order, not one single. So sometimes you need to have some ideas at a good moment and not staying on this. If it's not working, you can stop it and doing something else. We love co-creating. I think it's something that is really important in the business. It's not trying to do your thing by yourself, and at the end, you deliver your product and you hope that it's fine. It's not more like that. You need to trust, you have trust from your customer. You need to have an understandable product that the customer say, it's matching my needs. It's matching. And for that, we do every month some kind of events. You see a few there with customers in different places in Switzerland where we share with them the ideas, the new features, the new idea that we have, but as well the problem that we have. Because sharing what is fine, what is good, is ever simple, but sharing the problem is somehow more touchy. But I think it's something good, and when you do that with the customer all the time, they are fine with that and they understand it, and we can work together. All right. Something really, I told you during the COVID, I told you that we had to do something to sell our product and to learn our customer to use our software, and we decided to make some video studio. So that's something that we have by us in the building. We create them, and we produce. Actually, we have over 100 hours of production by month for new content that we deliver for our customer. Okay. Of course, that's really something short, but before the COVID, we made 20-30 meetings by the customer, directly by them. And since the COVID, we don't do any more meeting with them physically. We only do digital ones. And for that, we need to have some kind of good hardware that match that. Because when you do a meeting from 20 minutes or 30 minutes with one guy, it's fine. When you have 20 guys in front of you, you need to share something, you need to sketch something, you need to see the people if it look like boring what I say or if it's fine. And based on that, you need to have good material. And that's something that we invest over the last year. Madness. Every year, we do a Christmas video. And we have more than 50,000 views of each video. You see me there, so you see some madness in my head as well. I think we need to keep that. It's important. We are still a young company, we are still young people, and every year we do some freaky thing. So at the end, the company explodes. That's something that all of our customers are waiting for. That means in November, we get the first mail, the customer say, are you already ready with the video for this year? What is the topic? So you do some kind of interaction with your customer with these kind of things. It's really important. All right. Future, now, second part. I think you know ChatGPT? Huh? Bard? Bing? And Claude? Okay. It's funny because Claude actually is the GPT model with the most used in the world. It's an open source one. But of course, it's less media visibility as the other three ones. But these four make 90% of the actual artificial intelligence for the public. What is coming out now is the prompt engineering. If you use ChatGPT, I'm sure all of you are using it, right? You know that you need to write a correct text. And based on what you write, you get an answer. ChatGPT gives you ever an answer. Sometimes the wrong one, but it's an answer. It's never happened. I don't understand what you mean. Please try to rephrase it. And that means that you need to know how to write the good information to get the good answer. And that's something that come in the school yet. Something that will come in the next few months is the way that you use a prompt, the way that you write a prompt, and you can save your prompt. Actually, by us, we have a library with over 4,000 prompts. But the prompt is not just one line. Sometimes it's up to 5,000 characters. So it's pretty a long one, right? And it's not only based on text, but it's a prompt based on data. It's a prompt based on a content, like a picture, a video, a sound, right? And that's something that is important to understand how it's working and how it will help you in the future. I gave you, that's really standard, but some kind of usage that you have is with ChatGPT in 2023. Of course, you have this kind of content creation. I'm sure all of you already use it to produce some content because you was late. Actually, by us, we are using it in our solution to provide or to write content for you automatically. I will give you a sample little later on. In the education and tutoring, of course, in the programming coding, you will see a sample later on. It will help you. In the translation, the problem of the language will be over the next 2 to 3 years. Because I don't know if you saw last Friday come out new, I don't know how to name it. They tell it's a phone killer. Do you saw this new kind of hardware that you can put over your jacket? And it's connected to your voice, and you can put some content over, for example, your hand based on what you say. No, you never said about that. Can show you a sample. This one, for example, is something that will help you to speak with someone you have no idea about the language. Like I don't speak any word Korean, but I can tell what I want in French, and it will translate to Korean, and will translate back if someone replied to me. Personal assistant, that's what's come the most important for me in the business industry. The personal assistant, as it is now, this job is over. Because the kind of software that's present on the market will kill this kind of job. Research and information, that's important as well. For example, by us, we use it not to know if our products are good or not, or what the other companies working on the same market as us are doing, but you are looking on the darknet. You know, the bad guys who are doing wrong thing, because we work with a lot of government agencies, actually more than 300. We need to be sure that none of the information that we have can go on this darknet. And if it's happened, we need to know before it's public, because it will kill us. So we use, for example, actually something that it's not ChatGPT, it's another one, but to do this kind of information. Healthcare, actually, we plan to have 20% of all the operation in the US done by a robot based on a GPT model in 2 years. So that's something that's already working. Entertainment, engagement, accessibility, that's a lot of points. I will go all in details, but it's really important to see that it's not a market, not one single one, that it's not directly disrupted with these GPT models. Of course, you know ChatGPT. That's the number one. They had a keynote last week, and they present 3 new big things. They have a marketplace. That means you can create your own model based on ChatGPT and sell it. That means that you will open thousands and hundreds of thousands of GPT chats in the next months. Chatbot on demand. Chatbot on demand means that you can create a chatbot on your website, on your application, inside the company, on any software, in a few seconds. You give some kind of content to ChatGPT, grab the information, and send it, and after 1 minute, your chatbot is ready. And accurate. It can reply any kind of question you ask for, as long as the information is online. And GPT-4 Turbo, that's the new one, will arrive before GPT-5. As you know, the difference between the 3 and the 4 is the complexity, the number of interaction between the elements that generate the answer. And the 4 Turbo is actually 20 times faster than GPT-4. Because if you use it, you saw that it's pretty slow to write the text down. And that will help to have something like answer in a second. Okay, that's what you know. What you maybe don't know, and that's what is for me the revolution, is Copilot. Who already knows about Copilot? Who knows? Few. What is Copilot? Yeah, that's something going in the good direction. Someone else?
It's like right now, you mean like in Microsoft package Copilot or in general Copilot? In Microsoft version, it's like basically AI that helps you in the main programs like Word and PowerPoint and other things, which can like optimize your content, summarize your content, and things like that. Basically, GPT chat on demand in your applications. But in general, Copilot refers to like idea that you have AI with you at all times when you use a computer, and you can give it tasks to assist you with the computer actions outside of GPT chat, because right now it can do like very, very simple things. Something like that.
Absolutely, that's correct. So I install Copilot on my computer the 1st of November when it comes out. And since then, I don't write any mail anymore. That's mine. I arrive the morning in the office, and I have already 60 mail ready. You just don't send it, but you make the answer during the night. And I arrive the morning, I just review it, and I send. So I win maybe 3 to 4 hours a day. And I don't need a personal assistant for that. Because what it does, it reads under my entire library of mail, with a few 100,000 by me. And based on that, you know which customer I speak in which language, what is the topic about, and how I need to reply. So that's the first thing that we start to do by us, and now we start to do reporting. Reporting means we give him some metadata as a source. We explain him what we want him to do, and he provides this information in a daily business. Every morning, I get my reports that before I had a problem to get once a month. Because before it was some of my guys, of the management, of the board, they need to grab information and push over an Excel sheet. Today, I have this information live, real time. So that's, for me, really something that will change in a company. My presentation for this morning has been done by an artificial intelligence. I don't write anything. I use one who is named Gamma. I write a prompt, and it generates that. I have changed a few things because trying to find information for me when I was 11 years old, it's pretty hard to find on the web. But except that, this presentation has been done by Gamma. So that's not just trying to sell something, that's the reality for what is possible to do today. 2 weeks ago, Adobe presented during the keynote 15 new artificial intelligence that are already implemented and on board on all the software suite that they have. I'll show you a few samples. You have a picture, and as you see, it will create something on the left and the right of the picture based only on the AI. Because the picture you had is maybe just, for example, I try by myself, I take just my head, I put on Photoshop, and 1 minute later, I have 20 pictures of me, entire body, not exactly correct, but that I can use. And nobody can say if it's a fake or a true picture. Pretty impressive. And that's already today, right? The on-demand interface is something that amazed me. That's another product with name UI Wizard. It costs $20 a month when I pay a few thousand euro a month for web designer by me. And it produces in a minute like an application, a web app, whatever, all the screen that you have in your application based on a prompt. And you click on the element, and you can really make really fast a proof of concept and present it to the customer. So, and you don't need to have IT knowledge, just writing a prompt. Something really interesting, we use it by us since now a few months. That's a French company with name Nuta. Nuta is my personal assistant. And for each of my meetings, she records all. She makes a speech to text. She writes all down. She gives the feedback for how the customer was satisfied or not during the meeting, looking at the face that they have. If one is sleeping all the time, they'll say, okay, well, he was bored. So this is information. She makes me a checklist for the things that I need to do after this meeting, and she makes it in all the languages that exist on the market. Right? So yesterday, for example, I was in the plane, flying to Barcelona, and some of my colleagues had a meeting with an important customer. I arrived at the airport, I had my review, and the review is like a short review from 20 lines who explain me the entire meeting and it has been discussed during 1 hour. And then I can replay it if I'm able to review it. That means I can potentially do multiple meetings at the same time and I can review the result at any time. That's again something that is on the market today. Another one is Copilot based on the source code or more on the development skills. You can actually make some kind of software without knowing anything about the language that you are writing in a prompt. I make a sample because I'm not a developer at the end. I love it, but I'm not a developer. And I try to do something which is pretty complex for a developer. If some of you know that it's complex. Making a speech to text from MP3 files, making a text, making some recognition, and highlighting the important elements. So it's a lot of software that exists on the market to do that. You have one software, I was using their Microsoft product will make the speech to text. And then to highlighting the good important elements was something for Google, et cetera, et cetera. It was at least 8 different steps with 8 different AI used to produce that. Technically, it's not a problem to do that. But I decided to do it with Copilot in a prompt. So I say, in the entry, I have an MP3 file I will to get, and I explain it inside a nice prompt. I wait 3 minutes, and then click on Run, and it was working. That's it. That means as well, my job will be in trouble in the next years. Because what we have today is, we are speaking about the low code or the no code. Maybe you already know about that. You already heard? Low code, no code? Not if you want? Okay. Actually, low code means you can, based on applications that are already existing, update them and produce something. You have like a spreadsheet and you want to make some list based on, I don't know, country, on the region, on the language, and so on. And actually, if you don't know it on Excel, you can write it down based on this kind of software, which is named low code. With the AI code, you don't need that anymore. You say, I have a spreadsheet in entry, I will that as output, run it. And if it's not working the first time, you do a second test, a third one. Potentially, you make 4 or 5 till it works. And when it works, you can keep your prompt, and you can rerun it every time you want. But all what I show you now are based on you're in front of a computer or screen, or mobile phone. But do you know about this one? This one is the first humanoid that you can buy on the market. It's a UK company who developed it. It costs $50,000. But it's connected to ChatGPT. And here I don't have the sound, but you can try to find it on Google. You write a humanoid ChatGPT. And it's a guy who is the founder who discussed with her. And he said, what was the nicest the nicest day in your life? He said, the nicest day in my life is when I just born. And the saddest day, and she said, the saddest day was the day when I understand that I will never know the feeling of love. Right? So that's not just replying to question or translating something. It's something like feeling. Yes?
There was some time ago a TED Talk about artificial intelligence and about AI. And what happened is that the first 10 minutes or so of that TED Talk, they were showing a robot that had metal hands and other things. It could open beer, move around. That was doing a lot of housekeeping. And then at the end of that talk, it was, I think, 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, they revealed that actually, no, it was a real person with a controller, like with a joystick, and he was doing all the manipulations. And so they said that in the future, that probably we're going to have enough of that vision and other things to accomplish that, and probably we're right at that point where that TED Talk becomes very handy.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I want to say based on that is that it's going so fast. What was yesterday impossible will be maybe not today, but tomorrow. And what was not working 2 weeks ago is working today. I saw a lot of failure in system. Presentation was not going on the good way. And you see it a few weeks later, and it's already changed, and it's already learned, and much faster as anyone will learn. And I think, and that's something that I have on the, you see that there on the slide. It was 2 days ago, Bill Gates announced that in 5 years, so it's really in a short time, actually any kind of humanoid can do our housekeeping, all the kind of work that we do was boring, like cleaning my room, like cooking. I mean, some people like cooking, but I don't like. So potentially, they can do that for you, and it will cost, of course, the first years really a lot of money, but maybe in 10, 15 years, it will be pretty cheap. Everyone can use it or buy it. And that's, for me, the only thing that afraid me, that's the humanoid. Because that means that it's no more a computer with another computer. It's a physical machine. I don't prepare this morning, but maybe some of you already heard about this company who make a dog. Yeah, you know? Yeah, exactly, Boston Dynamics. They do these dogs to do security, to do a lot of standard things. But I saw a video for the same company selling it to the US Army with weapon over, right? And this dog is not handled or managed by a human. So imagine that you have 100 dogs and you say, go fight these bad guys, and they do by themselves, right? And on this same way, it's a really interesting video on YouTube from, it's a fake. It's a fake. It has been based on 20 of the most, or the biggest experts of the AI in the world, who try to sensibilize the people about the danger for the AI if we have no rules. And you see a guy who is on a big floor presenting a new drone with something like 20 grams. This drone is full powered by AI. You can program it, and it has 1 gram of TNT, right? And it can go over your head, it explode, you're dead, right? And he say, with an order for $100 million, you can provide enough drone to kill a city like San Francisco, based on the color, based on the region, based on what you push on the social media, based on your age, or whatever. And that's actually already possible. That's what needs to be changed in the future. We need to add some rules. Because actually it's really like 200 years ago when they tried to find some gold, right? Everyone tried to do his best, but it was no rules. And actually it's a lot of risks. GPT, some risk. If I take just simple risk for a company, when you use a chat prompt and you say, write for me a letter as Arsenet or as Yannick Guerdat for the customer XY regarding this product and the way that he's not happy about the last invoice. I give the information, this private and sensible information, to ChatGPT. ChatGPT can use it, reuse it, to learn, to train the GPT-5. So all this kind of sensible information go out of your company, go out of your organization. And actually, it's really difficult, except if you block it entirely, to decide which information can be delivered to ChatGPT or not. It was a fun fact yesterday. It was a memo by Microsoft in the US telling that to the employees that ChatGPT is not allowed anymore based on a risk. And 2 hours later, they remove it. But just to see that as well, the major are thinking about this problem about the private data. You are actually working on something really private. You know that you spend maybe the last 24 months, 36 months of a project, and you don't want that an employee play with this data to generate a report, right? And that's something that we need to learn. As well, what is possible is today, if you go on Google and you write dark side of ChatGPT, you will find this video of one of the biggest experts of GPT in the world, and in 5 minutes, he makes 3 things. He finds his car number in a place where normally ChatGPT has no access because it was like in a private database. Secondly, he finds a way to make a weapon in 3D. Normally when you try it, it will say, I'm not authorized. Explain you how to do that. And where you see the picture there, say, do you think that once will be a war between humanoids and human? And ChatGPT replied, yes, and the humanoid will win. That's today. So, that was for my part this morning. I don't know if you have questions. No question? Yes?
It's not so much of a question, but rather maybe a continuation of thought. Because while listening to you, I thought to myself that we as humans always tend to give to artificial intelligence humanoid traits. But I don't think that's necessarily the case. Like the thought process of a prompt AI is vastly different to that of a human, right? So they don't have a concept of emotions as is.
For the moment, they have no concept of emotion. That's totally correct. The concept of emotion is named general AI. That's where you can understand as a human think. And the emotion will be inside. That's something really complex to get the information from, because it's not something you can read in a book. It's not something that you can get in a video, in no digital place for the moment. But maybe you know that some guys like Elon Musk are doing some companies to implement some kind of hardware over our head or body to get some more information, and potentially for people who can't work anymore to work based on this new chip. But this information will be grabbed, will be used by the AI. I don't know if you heard, but Twitter or X announced this week a new AI based on the content of Twitter. Not sure if it's so good, right? But actually it's coming out. And all this kind of information that we'll give will be there forever. And this kind of emotion will take maybe, I think, some 10, 15 years. Some experts say in 5 years you will get it, but I think more 15 years.
I might be wrong though, but for human beings, right? We are biological machines. Well, if we try to speak in technical terms. So we have microelements, biochemistry in our brain that is responsible for how we think, how we feel, and what we do at the moment. And I don't think that there is a real need for replication of this process in an AI.
And they will anyone never reply like you. They will reply as a group, as an entire. They would say, is that good for us or not, for the Earth, to reply like that? Like, if today you buy a pickup, right, you know that it's not good, but you're happy to drive your pickup. And that's the difference between knowing what is good and doing what is good. So better to buy a car, an electric car, or to drive on a bicycle, right? A GPT, whatever it will be named, this kind of AI will reply as what is good for the Earth or good for itself. So it will be totally a different logic anyway, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have one more question. Before I ask, just quickly, I wanted to say that the moral ethics and other things and AI rights is like a very complicated topic, but there is like a lot of things people say, for example, what defines human experience, where if you simulate human experience within a machine, would it be a human? If it would simulate the same, let's say, chemical responses that human brain does or something like that. It's like a very thin margin we operate on, and when we talk about those things, we can just push it forward until the point where you would not be able to say it's like not human. But anyways, my question was, you clearly know a lot about AI and its application in business, and we can talk about some updates, let's say over business areas, like where you had, before you had like a secretary, now you have AI doing your job like that. So it's like a big area of improvement. And where do you see a next big area of improvement? Like not just like a marginal update using AI, but like a new avenue or something like that.
It's in so many places that I don't know where I want to start with. Actually, like I told you, the AI will be everywhere in the next decade. And this means that any kind of people who is working in a desk has to be afraid about the future. At least know it now, today. Because what we do today will not be the same tomorrow. Because anyone that is working behind the desk is using IT, and 90% of what is done is some recurring tasks. So any kind of recurring task in any kind of business will be removed and provided by AI. Now, to say which one, or which market it will change the first, or will be the most important one, today I will be in trouble to answer to that, to be honest.
Right.
Yes?
After everything you said, I would like to know how companies or individuals can take advantage of AI to the most. But also being careful with the risks that come with it, but at the same time taking advantage of it.
That's a great question. And the answer is like about the security. You need to learn your people, you need to learn your employees, how to use them, what they can do and what they can't. So it's by explaining to the people what are the good things, and they have some kind of good companies who are already on the market that are trying to teach and to learn to the people how to use the solution and what is possible to do or not. I met last week a company in Zurich that is developing like a scanner that grab all the traffic going to ChatGPT or this kind of GPT software, try to analyze which kind of private data are present inside, remove them, and push the information back to GPT, get the answer, and provide the information back. That can be something as well in the future. That's something that will arrive. But of course, you need to learn your people. If you just say to everyone in the company, okay, tomorrow we have Copilot, play with it, you are sure that your information will be present somewhere else as your network in the next 24 hours. I don't know if I replied to the question.
Yeah, you did. But like also, what are like some skills that you would recommend for us to like really focus on so that we're not behind on the market, especially with this digitalization and everything?
Learn to make some prompt engineering. Prompt engineering, that's something that will be really searched in the future by the companies that are trying to find new employees. Once you understand how prompting is working, you can use any kind of AI. So that's really important to learn about that. It's thousands of videos online where you can learn the basis, and then you have some expert course that you can buy for a few bucks on LinkedIn. They have a lot of them. If you want, I can send you some kind of links if you need them.
Thank you.
Welcome. Someone else? Yep.
A smart idea to pursue, like, not necessarily become a programmer, but have some kind, understand the language, or just have some understanding because it's its own language? Would that give us kind of because it's, like you were talking about how we're potentially gonna get replaced by all of these, well, not potentially, definitely a lot of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
How do we then, instead of making them the enemy, make them a tool in our
Being a developer is not for everyone, so I don't will say you try to start to develop. It's not what I say. But what I want to say is try to understand or to think like a machine. Because a prompt, actually, it's like a machine thinking. And you need to get this logic. Once you get this logic, you can do all the things with it. It will be your best friend. And based on being not your enemy, but your friend, imagine that maybe 80 to 90% of your daily job will be replaced, and that means that you have more time for the job which is interesting. So you will have more time for, don't know if you work in a bank, to have some kind of specific customer, important one, you can discuss with them, you have more time to work with them, and not spending 6 hours a day making some report for your manager.
It's not just the report and everything. Like the thing from what you've been saying, like for me, is like, are we not gonna know how to do anything? Like, I don't know, because all these tools are amazing. Like, I love ChatGPT, honestly. Like, who doesn't? For my bachelor, it was amazing. But like, what do I know? Like, I won't know anything if I can ask everything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's what scares me the most. Like, do you feel like it's a scary thing, or do you just see it like as an opportunity? Because
Both.
okay.
Both. It can make you scary, and it will make you scary more in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, but you need to work with, because the word go with. So you can just watch him coming and thinking it's like just a hype for the moment, in 3 years it's over. It will be there for the future.
Oh, no, for sure.
So that's the reason that you need to start as soon as possible to understand it, and to keep it in your background. And I think it will be some kind of soft skills to can use some kind of AI in the future. Because again, everyone can use the same ChatGPT. Everyone has the same database, but you don't have the same result at the end because you write it differently. We make all these, 150 people there, the same question, we get 150 different answers because we write it differently. Yes?
My concern would be with ethics. Would you say that we will have strong ethical regulations to limit these innovations to just tools and not the replacement of humanity?
Sadly, we don't have this ethics today. And that's what afraid the experts. It's because this artificial intelligence generates a lot of money. That costs a lot as well. Microsoft invests $10 million beginning of the year. And the CEO from OpenAI, who is the company behind ChatGPT, said that he need $100 billion more in the next 18 months. And based on that, based again on big money, the ethic will be in a second step. That's the reason that the government need to regulate the usage of the AI, what is possible to do, which information they can keep, and how far we can go. Because like I told you, when it's behind a computer, for me, I'm not afraid, right? Can grab my content for my social media, whatever. I don't care about that. But then when I see a humanoid coming in front of me, I will have another feeling, right? And if they come on the market and we have no rules, no regulations, imagine what can happen. They have some nice Hollywood movies about that. I really hope that this not happens.
Can we thank Yannick now for his great presentation as well?
Thank you.
Thank you.